Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be talking about my top 10 most anticipated movies for this June, which is probably the most loaded month for movies that we have had since the pandemic, really, and especially of this year. So far, July might be even bigger, but for now, June is massive and it's amazing. Every single week we have a pretty big film coming out, and I am so excited to dive into it. So let's start with number 10, No Hard Feelings. It just looks absolutely hilarious to me. What I like the most is that it's directed by Gene Stupnitsky, who was the director of Good Boys, and people really liked Good Boys. I haven't seen Good Boys, but I do really need to watch it. A lot of people have told me to go and watch it, so at some point I will. Before this movie comes out, for sure, I will check out Good Boys. But yeah, so people really liked it. So this should be a good comedy. It seems like it's in the hands of a pretty good director. Jennifer Lawrence is coming back. It also has Matthew Broderick in it as the boy's dad, which I just think is great because who doesn't want some Matthew Broderick in their life, right? So yeah, it seems like it's going to be a fun time, and hopefully I'm not wrong, and hopefully it doesn't suck. But right now it really just seems like No Hard Feelings is going to be maybe the comedy of the summer. We'll find out. The issue is our general audience is actually willing to pay to watch this kind of a movie in the theaters, because now with streaming services and everything, are a lot of people just going to want to wait until it comes out on Netflix or something? I guess we'll find out. Next up is Extraction 2, which is, another Extraction movie starring Chris Hemsworth, who's playing Tyler Rake. It's coming out on Netflix, but the trailer just looks electrifying. Apparently there's this really long one-take action sequence, and you kind of see that in the trailer. You see that the camera really lingers in some scenes, and it moves around in a way that I haven't really seen a camera move around in an action movie before. Whether or not this movie is actually good, script-wise, I don't even think matters, because what I'm personally excited to see is just the action. We have John Wick, we had John Wick, we have Mission Impossible coming, but is Extraction 2 gonna be that third, just big action movie that's filmed in a really cool, breathtaking way? I guess we'll find out. I really like Chris Hemsworth. If it was directed by Russos, I would be a little worried, because the Russos have not had a good track record ever since Avengers Endgame, but producing wise, they've been, up and down. They were producers on Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I'm not that worried that their names are attached to this film, but if they were directing, I would be completely terrified and be like, oh God, the Russos, oh my God, they're directing this, it's gonna be a crapshoot. But thank God, because they are not. So 8 is Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which might be a little high to some people. I think a lot of people probably have this way towards the bottom of their lists, but just let me explain why it's a little higher up for me. When I grew up, I was the biggest Transformers fan. In my bedroom at my regular house, it was just a regular kid's bedroom. But I had my own bedroom in my grandma's house, and the whole thing was Transformers themed. I remember I had this giant Bumblebee blanket, which I slept with. And I was at my grandma's house 2 nights a week. I was there a lot. So I was sleeping in that Transformers themed bedroom so many times, and I literally had a DVD player just with all the Transformer movies DVDs, and I would just watch them on repeat. I'm sure I had some other movies, but I don't really remember. All I remember is having the Michael Bay Transformer movies on there. And you know what? I loved it back then. I know that those movies suck. I look at these movies now, I'm just like, oh my God, they're terrible. Aside from Bumblebee in the first Transformers movie. But back then, I was in love. I was in love with the cars, I was in love with the fights. I still think that the fights are cool to this day. So, just cut me some slack for having it above Extraction 2 and above No Hard Feelings. But hey, I don't think it's going to be that good. You know, I know it stars Anthony Ramos, and I really liked him in the Heights, and Michael Bay is not directing it. Finally, we are out of Michael Bay directing Transformers movies. You know, he didn't do the Bumblebee movie, and now we have Frank Capel Jr., who's the same guy that did Creed 2. So this should be a nice, just new take on Transformers, but I saw the Maximals clip with Optimus Prime and all of them, and it looked fine. It just didn't look great. Transformers movies trailers are always fantastic, so I can't really judge the trailers because typically it's a great trailer for a terrible movie, right? But this trailer was great, and at the end of it though, what I did like was that they had this big one-take action sequence. It seems like it's going to be a thing now in a lot of movies where they have a one-take action sequence, and I am totally down with it. The fact that they were able to pull that off is awesome, and I can't wait to see that part. But just overall, will this Transformers movie actually be good? I don't think so, but I do hope so. I hope it's good. Next up is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let me preface this by just saying I have never watched an entire Indiana Jones movie in my life. I have watched snippets of it, and maybe I watched a full movie when I was really little and just can't remember it. But like, in the movie, like remembering the movies I've seen age that I'm at now and have been for a few years now, I have not seen Indiana Jones, like any Indiana Jones movie. And that will change by the time Dial of Destiny comes out. I will have watched all of them, but in this present moment, I haven't seen any of them. What I'm really just excited about is seeing Harrison Ford, seeing the de-aging, seeing Mads Mikkelsen, seeing some of the cool action sequences, you know, and yeah, I mean, the issue is that I used to be so much higher on this movie literally just a week ago, before it premiered at Cannes, because, you know, I had it on my best picture, you know, prediction honorable mentions, and I was just like, oh yeah, if there's gonna be a Top Gun this year, it'll probably be Dial of Destiny because of that mix of nostalgia and James Mangold being a good director. I had a lot of hope for this movie, and it seems like I've been proven wrong. It seems like this is a relatively boring movie I've seen it described as, so maybe it just won't be that good. But I know James Mangold's a good director. I know he has it in him, but maybe this did need to be a Spielberg movie, and maybe only Spielberg could have made this movie as amazing as it could have been. You know, just having a different director doing it just wouldn't be the same, I guess, but I haven't seen it, so I don't really know. Maybe will end up just completely loving Dial of Destiny and being against everybody that is giving it all this hate. Pretty much. I mean, it's gotten a lot of hate. I hope everyone's wrong. I do. I hope everyone's wrong. I hope this movie turns out to be good. I really hope all of these movies turn out to be good. So next up, we have two movies which might end up being my favorite movies of the month. A lot of people probably have them higher ranked than I do. The thing is that this is an anticipation list. You know, it's about what I am anticipating the most, and even though I think I'll probably like these movies more than most of the other movies that are above them, I'm just not anticipating them as much as the other movies. So first up is Asteroid City. Asteroid City is Wes Anderson's next big movie, and it has a star-studded cast. Literally one of the most star-studded casts we will see this entire year, if not just the most, period. You know, but the thing with me is that Wes Anderson's style can just be a little overwhelming. I feel like after watching one Wes Anderson film, a lot of times I've just been like, okay, I can't watch another one for a while. You know, I really liked French Dispatch, but after that I was just like, you know, I don't really want to watch a Wes Anderson film again for a little bit. Just because it's a lot. Wes Anderson movies are so different from regular movies, and some people love it and eat it up to the point where they can just get more and more of it, and they prefer that to watching regular movies. But to me, it just throws me off a lot. Where I watch a Wes Anderson movie and, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's good, but it's good like every once in a while. So that's why I'm not really anticipating this movie as much, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Wes Anderson is a phenomenal director. His style is beautiful and can be breathtaking sometimes, and his humor. The humor in his films are really just fantastic, and it's just such a precise way of filmmaking, which in some ways I completely idolize, but it's really just going to be sitting at number 6. I'm sure it will end up being one of the best movies of the month, though. So we've made it to the top half of the list, and kicking it off is Elemental at number 5. Elemental is Pixar's new film, which seems to take place in this world of elements. It's just a world inhabited by elements, and the main characters are fire and water, and it just looks beautiful. When Pixar makes a movie that's original and just takes place in a whole new world that they come up with, it is typically amazing. The last 2 movies that they did this with were Soul and Coco, both of which I loved. So for Elemental, I'm kind of holding it to that standard just a little bit. I'm holding it to the standard of being this amazing Pixar movie that really moves me, because I think it has that capability. It doesn't look like a Luca type of movie, which was just very different from the casual Pixar movie where it just wasn't as moving and as emotional. It was just more of a beautiful animated movie. But this, I'm expecting a lot. I'm just not anticipating it as much as the other movies, really. I think it'll be good, though. I have a lot of faith. I really trust Pixar with original content, and I so hope I'm not wrong. I'm an absolute sucker for good horror movies, and for that reason, The Boogeyman is number 4. It is so high on this list and probably will be one of the worst movies on here, if not just the worst movie flat out. But I have hope. If The Boogeyman turns out to be good, that's all I need. Even if it's decent, that's all I need. I just want a good horror movie experience in the theater. In my opinion, you really can't beat that. I think the experience of watching a horror movie in a packed theater with a bunch of people is just one of the best movie experiences that you can have. I also just really like Stephen King. He is my favorite author, and any time that a movie comes out where I know it's written by Stephen King, typically they're not good, but usually I'm intrigued. Then I hear reviews and I get scared away because it sucks. But Boogeyman reviews have been pretty mixed, and I have seen some relatively positive reviews about it. Also, it debuted at CinemaCon, which to me is a decent sign. And I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm going to pair it with Across the Spider-Verse, and I think that is an incredible pairing. You got the big superhero movie and then the scary, hopefully scary, horror movie. And we will get to Across the Spider-Verse later in the list, but for now, at number 3, we have Past Lives. So Past Lives premiered at Sundance to absolutely rave reviews. It came out of Sundance and people were instantly saying that not only was it a Best Picture contender, but it might just end up being the winner and just the best movie of the year flat out. And ever since I heard that, I have been so excited. With every single day, I think my own hype for the film has just built, but also just the hype I've seen on the internet. Just more and more people are talking about it and getting excited about it. And finally, it is going to be coming out in New York on June 2nd, meaning hopefully it'll come out in my market maybe on June 9th, or at least sometime in June, right? I hope it comes out in my market at some point in June. Please. But anyways, yeah, it just looks like an amazing movie, and that's all I can say. It's number 3 because it's gonna be great. And to have a chance just to be in a theater and see a film that I know will be incredible is a good feeling, and I can't wait to see it. I said we were going to talk about Across the Spider-Verse later on, and here it is. Number 2 is Across the Spider-Verse. For some context, Into the Spider-Verse used to just be like one of my top 4 favorite movies. It has dropped from that pedestal just a little bit now, but I still adore that movie. I love that movie with really all my heart, and it probably is one of, if not my favorite animated movie, period. So now Across the Spider-Verse has a lot of pressure on it to be good. You know, it's the sequel to a movie that so many people just absolutely loved and adored, including myself. You know, do I expect it to be as good as Into the Spider-Verse? No, I don't. But I do expect it to be pretty great. You know, the clips of it have looked really funny and entertaining, and the trailers, oh my god, the trailers. They're just too good. The trailers are just too good for this movie. And Oscar Isaac is really an incredible addition to this cast, and he does a great job picking his scripts too. Aside from the Star Wars sequel trilogy, it's hard to find things that Oscar Isaac is in that just haven't been good. Not to mention that just in the trailers, he's sounded great, and he really seems to be the perfect choice to play Miguel O'Hara. Before we get to my number 1, I just want to quickly talk about 2 honorable mentions. First off is Monster, which is a Japanese film that premiered in Cannes. It's getting a June release in Japan, but I just don't know if it's going to get a June release in the US. If I knew it was coming out in June in the US, like for sure, it would probably be in my top 10. Just because I know it's a pretty good movie, the reviews look good, but I haven't actually looked into it. It's a foreign film which I just want to go into completely blind. I just think going into some movies blind is such a fun experience, and as an American, it's hard to go into an American movie blind because there's advertisements everywhere. But with foreign films, it's not as hard because foreign films aren't advertised nearly as much in the States. So I wanted to do that with Monster, and at some point, hopefully I will. I just don't know if it'll be in June. My other honorable mention is Flamin' Hot. Now, Flamin' Hot very well might suck. I didn't think that the trailer was that good, but it is a Fox Searchlight film. You know, sure, it's coming out on Disney Plus and Hulu, but again, it has the Fox Searchlight brands promoting it. I just think that that gives it some weight and validity, and, you know, gives me a little bit of hope that it might actually be okay. Chances are, though, this won't be that good and it'll kind of suck, and I'll be completely wrong because it is coming out on Disney Plus. Even though it is a Searchlight movie, they're not releasing it in theaters, so how much faith do they really have in it? And now, at number 1, we have The Flash. For me, just how could The Flash not be my number 1? The trailers have been absolutely incredible. You know, Kara looks like she will be phenomenal. I'm not really questioning her anymore. I think that she'll be great, and I don't think that Superman will be as missed, at least for me, as it might be for other people. Also, Batman is just my favorite superhero. I've always loved Batman. He's always just completely captivated me. And we are at least getting Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton to play the Caped Crusader, but who knows? We might get other people. This is a Flashpoint movie. We might see like Christian Bale or something crazy. Like, I don't know. And what really set my anticipation just absolutely sky high is that the CinemaCon reactions were electric. This wasn't like Boogeyman CinemaCon reactions, which were mixed. No, pretty much everybody who watched The Flash said it was great, and they really liked it, and that it was a good time. So that just makes me even more excited to check this out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching me go over these movies. Hopefully you guys will check some of them out. You know, I know we had a very big variety of movies. We went from Past Lives to The Flash. You know, big variety, which I love. You know, you can have movies and they all come in different shapes and sizes, but You guys tell me, what are your most anticipated movies of the month? What do you think I rated too high? What do you think I rated too low? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Your support really means so much since this is such a small channel. If you would like to watch another video, feel free to check out this video, which is my review of Fast X, which wasn't that good of a movie, let's be honest here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Take care.